Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Visit World It, the series where I share my review and my opinion for different video games that I have experienced. This video is about a video game based on the popular movies of Ice Age, and more specifically, Ice Age Scrut's Nutty adventure. Ice Age was one of those movies that I always did and still enjoy. My favorite heroes were Scrut and Sid the Slug. When the first trailer was out for the game, I did show a bit of interest, however, there were far more interesting games at the time for me to purchase and play, such as Code Vein, Kingdom Hearts 3, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and etc. I always kept an eye though whenever there was a PlayStation offer happening. Early in January though, I came across a physical version of the game and at a very satisfying price, so I said, why not? Ice Age Scrut's Nutty Adventure was released on October 2019. It was developed by an indie studio known as Just Add Water and was published by Outright Games and Bandai Namco for all consoles during its release. This means there is no official PS5 or Xbox Series X versions. The game's story revolves around the beloved hero known as Scrut, who as always finds himself in trouble after chasing his uncatchable nut. During this, he stumbled across a weird cave and was told by an unknown voice that he'll have to travel in 4 different areas and collect 4 nut-shaped gems and place them on the 4 different pillars before him. What is really nice about these stages is that all of the levels are based on the first movies of Ice Age. As you can tell from the get-go, the story of the game is not its strength and definitely not something unique. It's something very generic. Once the cutscene is done, you travel to the first area, which resembles a lot the scenery from the first movie. Each area is separated in 4 different smaller stages. It's not a full-on open world as its transition is separated with a fade to black screen and they're all small sandboxes. The game relies on Easter eggs and guest appearances of heroes from the franchise to boost its likeness. Most of these guests are smaller characters who played a decent role in the original movies. Some of them are just sitting in the background and some of them obtain boss level status. The second stage is basically the infamous melting of the Ice Age. The third area is the one with the dinosaurs, and the last area is an original created land that resembles the best of each. It takes the wildness of the jungle, fuses it with the slides of the second, the dinosaurs of the third, and has new areas and new temples close to the fourth. As I mentioned, the overall map is separated itself in 5 playable areas, 4 of them having their own sets of 4, while the 5th one is the main hub world, aka the location of the cave. Each map has a lot of collectibles in different forms. Every map has plenty of puzzle pieces, character statues, and plenty of small gems that act as currency. However, the game has nothing to purchase, so they're mainly used to fill in the bar to expand your health. The enemy variety is not huge, but being a licensed indie game has a few. However, most of them are just riskings over an existing one. To elaborate, the crabs you encounter on the ice peaks are the same with the insects you encounter in the jungle. The wolves you encounter in the ice caves are exactly the same as the sleeping dinosaurs, where you'll have to stealthily avoid them and so on. If you play the game, you can tell which is a reskin of which. While in the topic of the maps, I should mention that the game also has some puzzles that you'll need to solve in order to proceed with the story or to collect a certain collectible. The puzzles are nothing too hard and come in 2 forms. The first type is basically go to the locked gate, see the puzzle combination with the symbols in order, and then hit the pillars with the correct shapes in the correct order. The second one comes in the form of collect the crystal nut key and place them in the correct hole. Sometimes you may be requested to get the key, open a different door, get the second key, and then place them on the correct order. The game is a 3D adventure platformer with a few puzzles and a few enemies. Scrut, as playable character, has a very small roster of techniques he can use. He can jump by pressing X, attacks by pressing square, roll with R1, sneak around with L1, aim with L2, and shoot with R2. Triangle is used for interaction with the environment and circle to cancel. The attack button also works in combination with X. If you're moving and press square, midway, Scrut is doing a rotation hit, and if you're standing still and jump and then press square, Scrut will do a dive attack, typical abilities of a 3D platformer. After successfully returning from each area and place the crystallized nut on the cave and place them on its pillars, Scruts unlock new abilities. These abilities are double jump, interaction with rings, and telekinesis. Double jump works by simply repressing X while in air. Ring interactions works by simply looking at the floating rings and pressing triangle in order to interact with them. Last but not least, telekinesis works by simply heading to the rock that has a glass nut shape on it and press triangle. Keep in mind, you always have to be standing on the side that you wish to pull the item, so if you want to go up and right, you'll have to interact twice, once from the front in order to move it up, and once from the right to move it right. Aiming is really easy as the game auto-locks when you aim over a box or an enemy. What is worth commenting on is that depending on the area you are, Scrut will have a rock similar to it. For example, in dirt, he'll pick rocks, and in snow, he'll pick snowballs, and so on, so on. Being a 3D platformer means you die in 3 simple ways: dropping off the map into a non-playable area, being hit by an enemy mob, which is around 3 to 4 times, and being hit by a one-shot mob, aka the wolf or the small dinosaur. The same hit marks exist if you drop into water or lava. You get 2 chances to escape, otherwise you die on the 3rd. As I mentioned earlier, there are a few boss fights, more specifically 3. The first boss battle is against the Rhino from the first movie. The battle is simple: you're placed in an arena, you dodge the attacks of Rhino, and you try to force him to headbutt into the wall. The second battle is against the 2 monsters that were swimming in the Ice Age melting. You basically melee one of them and you are doing a button smash on the second one. And the third one is a dinosaur that they were riding on the third movie. And it's a typical platforming of avoid the attacks, make him get tired, and then melee him. All good, but it wouldn't be fair if I don't mention everything wrong with the game, so let's see. The game doesn't look okay, nothing really special. Sometimes it looks clean, but sometimes the frames just drop. It looks more like a PS3 than a PS4 game. The game was built in Unity engine and not Unreal, which is a very common engine. Scrut's karate animation looks very bad and it doesn't look smooth at all. The soundtrack used in the maps and their areas are really nice and chill, however the sound effects destroy everything. The effects used when there are enemy wasps is really irritating. For some reason they sound louder than anything else in the world. Imagine having wasps or flies, the big ones, going around your ears all the time until you look at them and kill them. It's annoying. The enemy hitboxes for the normal mobs are really bad and barely know whether you hit them or not. Most of the time you just move towards them and spam attack in order to hit them. There are plenty of glitches and buggy areas and you'll often see Scrut falling off the map. Chances are, when you jump on a rock or a crystal, you'll most likely drop out of it. It occurs very often and in completely random areas. I tried hitting the same crystal 10 times and 2 out of 10 I dropped off the map. Last, but certainly not least, is Scrut's yelling. What the hell were the developers thinking when they gave him 4 different voice screams? Every time you click R1, which is basically rolling in order to move faster, you'll hear Scrut yelling and yelling and yelling with the same 4 different screams. At first it's okay, but the more you play, it gets annoying. Overall, it's not a bad game, but it's not a must play. If you like innocent 3D platformers, then you should give it a try. It's very decent for an indie game, and I will only recommend it if you find it on a sale on the PlayStation Store or in an actual store. I got mine for 15 euros, so it wasn't that bad. The game is 3 to 4 hours long, and 6 if you're going for the Platinum Trophy. However, you should be looking at a guide in order to know where the puzzle pieces are or the statues, as the developers put more effort into hiding them than fixing the bugs of the game. Again, it's not a must play, but I can see some people having fun while playing it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments below what are your thoughts on the game and which of the Ice Age films is your favorite. If you're interested in more of my reviews, check the playlist down below. Until then, take care and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!